the Mirror Gagarin Warship in Star Trek Online. Let's do the gameplay review. Greetings, Captains. I am your host, Brent Justice, and welcome to my gaming channel, Justice Gaming. I am in Star Trek Online today to do a gameplay review of the Mirror Gagarin Warship. What this means is I will be looking at this ship visually. We'll take it into the customizer, see what we can do. We'll come back into space, talk about its powers, and then we will take it into combat and try out those powers and demonstrate what this ship is capable of. Now, this video, it is not about my build or how I've customized the ship. This is just for demonstration purposes. I have, however, found this ship to be extremely powerful, and it will make a very good build or a ship build for a tactical character. So let's talk a little bit about this ship and how it came into existence. This ship was released during Season 24 called Reflections. This came out in 2021. So that means you cannot get this ship now. This was only during a special event. If you missed getting it, you are not going to get it. But if you have it, you have it. And if you have not seen this ship, then hopefully this video will demonstrate what this ship was capable of. Now, this is from the Mirror universe, but it is based on another ship that's in this game called the Gagarin Class. There is, in fact, a Gagarin Miracle Worker Battlecruiser that this ship is based off of. So even if you don't have this Mirror version of the ship, you could get the Gagarin Miracle Worker Battlecruiser. Now, that class is based off of the Shepard-class from the 23rd century. So this is basically an upgraded version of that. It has two special powers. We've got the Protomatter Precursor shields, and that's its trait, which we'll go over, and the projected Protomatter wave. That's the special console ability it comes with. But let's quickly talk about its specs. It's a Tier 6 ship. It will level with you at level 65. It has 56,250 for the hull strength, a hull modifier of 1.25, shield modifier of 0.9, a turn rate of 12. It has plus 10 power to weapons. It has plus 10 to shield power. It has a Commander Tactical, Bridge Officer seat, Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Ensign Science, and Lieutenant Commander Universal/Command. It has 4 forward weapons, 4 aft. It has 5 tactical consoles, 4 engineering consoles, and 2 science consoles. As you can see, it is very tactically focused, leaning heavily toward a tactical character and a tactical bridge officer seating for commander level. So the next thing we're going to do now is to look at the visuals of this starship, and then we'll go down and look at how we can customize this starship. Now we are going to look at the visuals of the ship very quickly. There is not a whole lot to talk about here. The biggest thing to note is that it is Mirror Universe focused, therefore you have the Mirror Universe colorings, the way that you see the red on the saucer and the black and white, and then the nacelles themselves have a very Mirror Universe look to them. This ship is very straight-lined. You'll notice on its profile, it has a very flat and straight-lined look from both angles there. Or coming from the front, you can see there, that is quite nice. The deflector is down there. It does have a reminiscent 23rd century feel, Discovery era feel to it. That design language is definitely here. However, it is the updated version. It is not the Shepard-class, but you can see the lineage from the Shepard-class in it. I think it looks quite appealing, honestly, and it also flies very well in the game. Let me zoom all the way out for you. This is zoomed all the way out, and you can see that it is very tiny when we zoom all the way out. This means that as we fly it normally, this ship is not a big ship. It is not big at all. It's not tiny. It's not a tiny ship, but it is a smaller ship. That means it's very maneuverable. As we zoom all the way in, this is what it looks like all the way zoomed in. But flying the ship is very comfortable. I will do a full turn for you. Now, my turn rate is buffed by endeavors and other things that are buffing turn rate, so your turn rate will be different. The native turn rate is slower than this, but as it is currently configured on my character, it turns extremely fast. So this is definitely a maneuverable ship. It's a fast ship. It is the kind of ship that you fly in this game on a tactical character where you fly in, do a whole bunch of damage, and fly out. It is built for that. It works for that. I actually think it looks quite good. But let's go down to the customizer and see what we can do to customizations on it visually. Okay, welcome back. We are now in the ship customization for the Gagarin Warship Mirror version. As you can see, there are several templates available depending on which templates you have unlocked for your character. The Gagarin Mirror is the default template on this ship, but if we change over to Gagarin, you can see what the Federation version of that would look like. You can apply that skin to it, and you also have the Shepard templates as well. As I said, this ship is based on the Shepard, and there it is. So you can make it look like that. Or the Mirror Universe Shepard, which actually looks a lot better. I like the dark theme there on the Mirror Universe Shepard. But you can see now the lineage from the Shepard to the Gagarin. Back and forth there, and you can see the difference. Now, if we look at other options, you have no special bridge, unfortunate. You do have several window types you can change to the Shepard windows, but this one is on type 5. The default material is type 7A, so if you have other skins on this, well, here's what they would look like. As we scroll through all of them, there's Discovery Era Terran Type 1. That's actually not too bad looking. But those are all the different ones, but 7A is the default. And that is what you can do to the ship. We also have different styles you can change here as well. If you have these other styles opened, you could change, for example, the hull to the Shepard hull. So you can change the different hull types. You can change that a little bit there, kind of make a hybrid of a ship. You can change the nacelles as well. Gagarin Beta is another option there as well, or Mirror Beta. So there's the Gagarin Mirror default and the Mirror Beta. So you have different options there for customizing this ship and how it looks. Let's go into space now and look at its powers. I am back in space now on the Mirror Gagarin Warship, and it's time to look over its powers and what this ship has natively. If we open up our menu here, you will notice it does have a starship trait. So the mastery unlocks are precise weapon systems for increased accuracy, enhanced weapon banks for more critical severity, devastating weaponry for a 2.5% critical chance buff, increased energy and kinetic damage, plus 10% kinetic damage and plus 10% energy damage. Now, here's the special trait. It is called Protomatter Precursor Shields. It is a forward arc immunity from captain abilities. So, on a captain ability, your front shield facing gains immunity to damage and increase all incoming shield heals by 200% for 5 seconds. I will activate that and we will see that. Next, the special console that it comes with. This is the Universal Destructive Protomatter Wave Projector. By having it on your ship, you have a plus 12.7% all damage for energy weapons, a plus 38 all damage resistance rating versus damage from energy weapons, an AoE radiation damage plus damage over time, launches a Genesis wave at up to 3 foes which explode in a 1 kilometer radius. To foes, it does 2436 radiation damage, 50% shield penetration, then an additional 243 radiation damage, 50% shield penetration every 1 second for 10 seconds. If affected foe dies, it explodes again, 2192 radiation damage with 50% shield penetration every 1 second for 10 seconds to foes within 2 kilometers. That is the special ability. Let's quickly look at the stations on this. As you can see, we do have the Commander Tactical Station for bridge officers. We do have the Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Universal/Command. So that is another seating you have. Lieutenant Tactical, and then Ensign Science. Now, on my ship, we'll quickly look at the stats, but again, this is not about my build or what I'm using. All of these numbers are affected, obviously, by the loadout that I have on my ship. This is just for demonstration purposes. But what I have here is a stealth detection rating of 35.4, power transfer rate of 210%, a defense rating of 142, hull of 88,000, hull repair rate of 141.3%. My shields are at 13,800. I have about a 30% resist on most of everything. My accuracy rating is 33.5. Crit chance is 27.8%. Crit severity is 137%. Now, what I am running for today's demonstration are Delphic anti-proton dual heavy cannons. So I do have cannons and turrets on this loadout. I am using the Iconian set from the Iconian Reputation on a tactical character. So that is what I will be running today. And you can see, again, the tactical consoles, science consoles, engineering consoles, and then the weapon slots that it provides. That is the loadout on this ship. Now, let's take a look at the abilities. The first one is the shields, the trait that this comes with. This trait is called the Protomatter Precursor Shields. I can actually activate this trait while I'm in space here above Earth Space Dock. I will do that by enabling a command or captain ability, and evasive maneuvers counts as one of those abilities. So I will enable that and you will see it. Here it goes. This right here, this shield that forms over my ship in the front, gives me immunity. It is very short-lived, and it's on cooldown now. But every time I hit evasive maneuvers, I will have that immunity. That's very good for a ship like this that can do a ton of damage, and you want to fly in and do a whole lot of damage and then fly out. So hitting that evasive maneuver would enable that. Other captain abilities would also enable that. So if you have multiple captain abilities, you can enable that. So that's the first one. And the second one I can also demonstrate. It's not going to do any damage while we are at Earth Space Dock, but I can at least demonstrate it so you can see it in action. And that is the projected Protomatter wave. So let's say I would have an enemy in front of me, 1, 2, or 3 enemies. I would fire it at them and it would look like this. Now, while that's happening, you can't move. So we will let it cool down and I will do it again. But while it's happening, and that was a captain ability that activated that. So while that is happening, while you have this ability activated, you can't move. So you pretty much need to be lined up with the enemy exactly, which means if they fly out of range or fly out of your way, it's not very useful. So you'll want to use it on enemies that are very strong or have a very high hull strength. Those enemies that stay still and don't move. If the enemy is a fast-moving ship, it's going to move out of range on that. Those are the basic features that this ship comes with, and I believe the best way to demonstrate this ship will be just to simply go into action and demonstrate. So I am now going to go to a very simple patrol so I can demonstrate these abilities and show a little bit of combat on this ship, and then we'll go into some harder patrols and just give it all she's got and do a whole lot of combat with this ship. Okay, I am in the Karaya system, which is a very simple Romulan patrol to demonstrate the abilities on this ship, which are very simple. There's not a ton. Now, on this big enemy here, where we have the Dideridex, I'm just going to pop off our main ability. Now, you will notice when I pop it off, I'm not able to move. I can't move. I'm trying to move the ship and it won't move. There it goes. It pops off, and it is continuing to do damage. And if that ship is destroyed, it should do secondary damage. So let's destroy it. So with that ability, it may be that you really need to make sure that that ability is destroying the enemy, because it didn't do any secondary explosion that I saw. But perhaps it would do it on multiple enemies, and I just fired it on one. So we will do more. We'll let that cool off, but while it's cooling off, let's go ahead and hit this Mogai and let me use my other ability. I'm going to fire at them so that they will fire at me, and I'm going to set off our ability.
Target's shields have failed.
There we go. So, as you can see, I am immune as they hit me. So let's move out of the way. I want to hit multiple enemies with the main weapon, but you saw that as I was using that ability on my front array here, the damage they were doing to me was not there. They were, I was immune to it. Boy, that tractor mine will not go away. Okay, let's use our main ability again, and let's see if I can get it on multiple targets here. There we go, multiple targets. Well, he went dead real fast.
Target's shields have failed.
They did not die. We will try that ability one more time, just for demonstration purposes. Ooh, let's get away from them. And I will come back and use that on multiple enemies here once again. I'll let it cool down, but that's the basic abilities that this ship has. Now, outside of these abilities, this ship is just good because it's maneuverable, fast. You can put a lot of cannons on it. You can put a lot of tactical abilities. You have that commander tactical ability, and you can just make it an extremely powerful and fast-moving ship that flies really well. The Protomatter thing, not as useful, simply because you have to hold your ship. You're not able to move when it pops off, which kind of puts you in a precarious situation. It doesn't do a ton of damage. It says that it is radiation damage, so if you're not buffed for radiation damage, it's not going to do a lot. You will probably need to put skill in things to buff radiation damage to really get the most out of it if you want to use it a lot. We'll talk about that more in the review, but it's about ready to pop off, so I'm going to buff it up and we'll go here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. I completely did not set it off, did I? Ha! I just want to get into combat and kill things. Alright, we'll do it on the next wave. I was having too much fun, what can I say? Okay, where's the next wave? Okay, now there's the next wave, so let's pop it off on this group, shall we? Oh, there you go. So ultimately, it's not doing a ton of damage. This right here is more useful. This starship trait right here, more useful. Alright, let's kill everybody else so we can go on to the next thing. So that is a small demonstration of those powers, but let's really take it into combat, and let's do some really hard patrols. So I'm going to go to a harder patrol. Okay, everybody, we are in Jupiter Gauntlet normal mode on the Mirror Gagarin Warship. I'm just going to play this as hard as I can, so just notice all of the abilities that I use, and notice the captain abilities that I enable, which will give me the shield, and then also the Protomatter I will use, and I'll go ahead and pop off with the Protomatter right now. I'm going to buff it up a bit. And we'll hit it on this guy here. Boom. Let's see what kind of damage it does. It didn't even hit the guy I wanted it to. Look at that. It hit. I don't know where it hit. Didn't hit. No, it did hit him. But it didn't do a ton of damage, necessarily. Perfect shield for immunity is definitely more useful. So, one of the things about this weapon is it doesn't exactly hit the enemy you want it to hit necessarily, especially if there's a big crowd of them on the screen. Doesn't necessarily hit them all, and it only does 3 at a time, so how useful is it? Meh. Also, I can't move my ship when I'm firing it off, so there's that. Alright, so let's just go ahead and play this like we normally would any other thing. And I'll pop off that feature again when we get to the Dreadnought. Okay, well now we should have the Dreadnought. Now before I get to the Dreadnought, I think I should get rid of the crowd that's around it so that I can fire. Well, actually, you know what? Might be a good example to show this with a crowd. So let's pop it off and we'll see if how many it hits. I guess it's only going to be 3, but how much damage it can do also. We'll hit Tactical Fleet.
Target's shields have failed.
Yep, didn't hit them. Didn't hit the Dreadnought. Check that out. It flew to the side and didn't hit my Dreadnought. That's doing damage to that guy. So it didn't even hit the right target that I wanted. That's unfortunate. We'll save the Dreadnought for last. Alright, let's see if we can pop it off one more time. Give it a shot. The perfect shield's nice. There we go.
4 shields failing.
Did it hit it? It went off that way, but did it hit it? I can't even tell if it hit it or not.
Target's shields have failed. 75%. Integrity below 50%.
I am not entirely sure that the Protomatter wave actually hit the ship. So that is one of the problems, is in a crowd, it's not so good at, first of all, getting to the target you want it to get to or that you're aiming for, and even when you have the target selected, I'm not entirely sure it hit the ship. Maybe it did, maybe one of the waves did and the other 2 flew off. But if so, it wasn't helping a ton. But that's only one ability of the ship. Obviously, the ship has other abilities, such as the immunity shield in front from that captain ability, and that is very, very powerful right there. So the starship trait is good. Also, just the fact that it's a powerful warship and you can put a lot of cannons on it and do a lot of damage. We'll talk about it in the review. Let's do another hard patrol.
Computer?
Okay, now I'm in Jupiter Gauntlet hard mode to look at all the abilities on the ship. Now for this one, I am going to also go all out, just like I did in the last one, so just pay attention to the abilities when I use this ability, Projected Protomatter, or one of my captain abilities to activate that shield that it has. Let's see, who are we fighting today? Ah, okay. Cool. they have a shield I have to worry about.
Incoming! Projector Station Beta! Attack!
They're gone. Oh, I'm too close. Let's try this. Here we go. Projector, go, and... Oop, pop it off.
Target's shield has failed.
It's not doing a ton of damage.
Hull integrity below 75%. Four shields failing. Rear shield failing. Left
Got a
shield
little too close there. I'll use the ability again on this group here. We have a dreadnought. So the dreadnought's being protected by a shield, however. Gotta take down the duplicate, which is right there, distortion. Let's take out the distortion first. Alright, I'm gonna hit the, they're killing me. Maybe I should kill all of the, let's kill all the surrounding ships first before we get to the dreadnought. I'll leave it for last, because I'm gonna die if I don't, if I just try to attack it only. Yikes, there's a lot of these ships. Okay.
Target's shield has
Yeah, I'm gonna worry about the dreadnought at the end because I want to use my main weapon on it. I want to see how much damage we can inflict to it.
Right shield's failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Target's shield has failed. Four shields failing. Rear shield failing.
Alright, let's get out of here. Yeah, I just want to get down to the dreadnought only. I want to apply maximum damage to it and see what we can do with our Protomatter projector weapon.
Target's shield has failed. Hull integrity below 75%.
Okay, we have the dreadnought here. We have this battleship. Let's get rid of
Right
it.
shield's failing. Integrity below 50%.
Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
Rear shields failing. Right shields failing.
Okay, we have this frigate. Let's get rid of it. And that one. Alright. Now we just have the dreadnought. So what I want to do, let's get rid of the distortion's about to go away. So there's the dreadnought. Alright, what I want to do, what do we have, 2 dreadnoughts? Oh, okay, we have 2 dreadnoughts. Oh, that was a distortion. Alright, let's buff this thing up. Here we go. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh well. Alright, so that's the damage we're getting out of it. I forgot to enable my tactical fleet, but close enough. So yeah, not a ton of damage. I mean, it helps, but it's not a lot. Let me do tactical fleet. I'm gonna let this cool down, and we'll do tactical fleet. I'm gonna pull out here. I'm gonna go backwards. Trying to get the most amount of damage. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it there. And I will wait, and we will hit tactical fleet, and I will hit alpha. And I'll hit my red matter also. I've already used these up. They might be cooled down in time. These also buff my damage. Radiant subatomic pulse buffs damage. And advanced radiant hypercharge, that doesn't, but this one does. So that one gives me more damage. So I'm gonna try to hit everything that gives me damage. Red matter, alpha, radiant subatomic, tactical fleet, and then fire off the Protomatter thing, and that's going to be like the maximum damage that I can do with this thing. So we'll see what that does. Probably not going to do a whole lot, but it's our best shot at trying that out and seeing how much damage we can do with it. I just need to make sure the distortion is gone before I do it. So that's almost cooled down. 20 seconds will be there. Yeah, these will be ready, so that is good. Okay. So we're about ready. I'm going to go in and get rid of the distortion and then set everything off. Y'all ready for this?
Warning, ship is under attack.
And go. That's pretty much everything. So I got some criticals on it. That's nice. But I'm doing some critical damage, which is 887. But ultimately, look at that. It's really not doing much to it. It's not bringing down the health that much. So, okay. I mean, it's not extremely useful. Let's just leave it at that. Alright, but let's take out this thing for real now. Get rid of distortion. Come on. Distortion, go bye-bye. Alright, let's get rid of this thing. Okay. So, now we have demonstrated all of the abilities. That was the projected matter, protomatter wave, which
Computer
it's
in simulation.
fun, but
Excellent work.
yeah, let's talk about that in the summary. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are in space now. Let's do a final summary on the Mirror Gagarin Warship. Now, this was, again, from a special event that is no longer available, but if you were able to get this ship, I think you will probably have found, just like myself, this can be a powerful ship, and it has a lot of flexibility to do a lot with it. I have not flown any of the other ships. I have not flown the Gagarin Miracle Worker Battlecruiser or the Shepard-class, so I don't know how those compare to this one. All I know is that for a tactical character, this can be a very, very powerful build. You have the Commander Tactical Bridge Officer Station. You also have the Lieutenant Commander Universal Station, so you can put anything there, or command abilities on this ship, so you have that flexibility there. When you pair this with powerful weapons and a powerful build, you can do a lot with this ship. It has a lot of potential. It also flies very well. It's extremely maneuverable. It's very fast. It has a good turn rate. Even at its default natural turn rate, it's not bad. And I find that it's easy to fly. It's an easy to fly starship, and it's also easy to look at. It's very appealing to the eyes. I think it is aesthetically pleasing. Now, let's talk about its powers. I believe the trait is more useful than anything. The Protomatter Precursor shield is very useful. That enables for me all the time because I use features like evasive maneuvers and other things a lot on my character, captain abilities. That makes it very useful. I can fly into battle or away from battle and not get damaged on that forward-facing arc. So that's very useful. And of course, remember, with starship traits, you can put them on other ships too. So unlocking that on the ship would give you that trait for other ships. So that could be very useful on other escort-type ships, for example. Now, let's talk about the console it comes with, the Universal Destructive Protomatter Wave Projector. This one is cool for its passive powers because it does give plus 12.7% all energy damage for weapons, all damage for energy weapons. So having this on your ship increases your energy weapon damage. That's a bonus. That's awesome. That's cool for an escort or anyone who wants to do more damage. So having this on there just for that, if you wanted that, sure, that's fine. That's kind of cool. But its actual ability, the projected Protomatter Wave, I do not find extremely useful. Number one, when you fire it off, you are held. You cannot move your ship. So now that makes you very vulnerable. And as an escort, you can die very fast with the enemy shooting at you and not able to move out of the way. So that's one bad point about this. It makes you vulnerable. The other is that it doesn't exactly fire on who you're targeting, especially in a crowd. So it can't exactly go where you want all the time. Now, if you just have one big enemy, sure, it will probably fire on that enemy. But even then, the damage that is dealt, radiation damage, it's not extremely high. Now, that is, of course, saying I have not buffed anything for radiation. If you had a character where radiation damage was their thing, and you're really buffing up your radiation damage, then it's going to do more. So on a build like that, it could be useful. But if you're not buffing radiation damage at all, like I am, that's not your thing, then it doesn't become useful. I would rather buff energy damage or my actual anti-proton damage or something like that rather than radiation damage, because I've got no other weapons that are doing radiation damage. It's the only thing. Therefore, it has a very limited use for me. And it also only affects 3 enemies at a time. So if you're in a crowd, you've got a crowd, it's not going to do a whole lot there. It's not going to affect the other enemies. and I really have not found this feature to be extremely useful. In my playthrough of this ship, using it for quite a while, as I have, I end up not really using the Protomatter thing at all. I just don't. I rather rely on the powers that I have set up on my build. All of my Iconian reputation powers, my cannon powers, radiant energy. This one here, the radiant hypercharge, is very useful. Abilities like that I end up using on my character or on this starship more than anything. So for me, it's just a powerful starship, not for its console, but just because it's a powerful starship and it has a good trait. So those are my thoughts and opinions on the Mirror Gagarin Warship. If you have used this ship, let me know below your thoughts and opinions on it. If it is a ship that you have, will you continue to use it? What improvements or changes would you make on it? And if you do not have this ship, what you see from this video, is it a ship that would have interested you, been an interest to you? So that is my look at the Mirror Gagarin Warship in Star Trek Online. Hope you all enjoyed this video and my gameplay review of this ship. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.